Hello, sunshine. Watch the money, safety, and trust. First up, the facts are moving faster than the answers. In the United States, the headline boils down to US CDC raises Ebola outbreak response to highest level. The useful angle is whether pressure on public trust, markets, and legislation actually changes anything after the headline fades. One detail to watch is CDC elevates Ebola response to highest level. The catch is that the consequence is still developing. Fact confidence lands at 95 out of 100. The repeated reporting is strong enough to watch the fallout, not just the headline. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Institutions, businesses, and consumers. Trust is the boring word that decides whether people follow rules, buy promises, or punish institutions.
Also on the board, the shipping risk is really an inflation risk. Across the wider news cycle, this one starts with Oman tells allies ships going through Hormuz may have to pay. Fact confidence is 75 out of 100, so the basic event is solid. The argument is about what it changes. The open question is whether officials keep this contained or let it widen. The tension is not noise. It is how far the response travels. One detail to watch is oil prices drop as more ships move through the Strait of Hormuz. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Energy industry, transport companies, consumers, and security officials. In global news, this can turn into pricing, hiring, investment, or confidence decisions before most people notice the paperwork.
Meanwhile, the bill may arrive after the headline. Across the wider news cycle, this one starts with are leveraged SpaceX ETFs the root cause of the stock market's tech sell-off? The open question is whether the pressure becomes a real cost or just a nervous headline. The real tension is whether this stays in markets or reaches normal wallets. The added wrinkle is Nvidia stock continues slide amid tech sell-off. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Investors, businesses, consumers, and technology companies. The first people to feel it are investors, businesses, and consumers. The wider risk is that markets, tech rules, and your wallet start changing everyday choices.
Also on the board, the science is moving faster than trust. Across the wider news cycle, this one starts with low testosterone levels are linked to a higher risk of cancer, a study finds. The open question is whether the real-world rollout matches the headline. The tension is where science, access, and confidence meet real patients. The added wrinkle is switching from cigarettes to vapes linked to higher risk of major eye diseases, large study finds. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Medical providers, patients, and consumers. Across the wider news cycle, this becomes a credibility test, and credibility is painfully slow to refill once it leaks out.
For today, the useful filter is simple. Watch what changes decisions, prices, rules, safety, or trust. The rest can sit down for a minute. A headline can make noise by itself. A story earns attention when separate reporting keeps landing on the same basic facts. On US CDC raises Ebola outbreak response to highest level. Watch public trust, markets, and legislation. In United States, the people closest to it are institutions, businesses, and consumers. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes. On Oman tells allies ships going through Hormuz may have to pay. Watch markets, energy, and security. In global news, the people closest to it are energy industry, transport companies, and consumers. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes. On our leveraged SpaceX ETFs, the root cause of the stock market's tech sell-off? Watch markets, tech rules, and your wallet. In global news, the people closest to it are investors, businesses, and consumers. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes. That is the filter, facts first, pressure points second, outrage somewhere near the parking lot.
That is the brief. Stay curious, stay calm, and hydrate that brain.